Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, ScottieShereeReads. I'm Scottie, obviously, and today, as you can tell probably from the title, I'm gonna do the Booktube Newbie tag. But first off, I wanna say thank you to any and everyone who has watched my previous 2 videos or subscribed to my channel or commented on my videos. It means the world to me. Like, this is just my passion, and I am very excited to just spend a little bit more full time focusing on this and finally being able to have a booktube channel, which is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. So every single like and comment just means so much to me. I literally can't believe that people will sit and watch an hour-long video of me just talking about books that I like and actually like communicating with me and saying that they want to pick up these books and such. So thank you to everyone who has watched. If you're new, welcome. I will just dive right into it, so let's get into it. Jumping into the first question, which is, why did I start a YouTube channel? Or booktube channel, more specifically. Well, I have been following booktube since I've been in college. I mean, probably since like 2014, 2015. Funny enough, like I'm not a person that really like watches TV or like keeps up with music and stuff very much. Like reading is what I do in my spare time, and connecting with people on the YouTube platform that are also talking about books. So I've been following creators, like I follow people on Patreon, like I do the reading sprints and all of that. So I feel like I'm a part of the community, but could never find time or make time to actually create on my own. So some life changes had happened and I have more free time now and decided to hone in on this passion a little bit more. I read so much, and like in my day-to-day, I don't have a lot of people that are in my real life that are readers. So I've always flocked to the internet in order to connect with people about books. So instead of me just watching other people's videos and commenting on their stuff, I was comfortable enough to kind of set up the camera myself and share my opinions and thoughts and interact with people on my own platform. So I'm very excited to see where this takes me. It's been a long time coming. I actually started and uploaded a couple of videos like way back in like 2018, 2019, and I don't really know what happens. Life just happened and I stopped. So I'm back now and ready to rock. So yeah, that's pretty much the answer to that question. The second question is, what is unique about your channel? So that's hard to say because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what my channel is, but for starters, I'm a Black woman, and there are a lot more Black female creators that are out there, but still not a lot. So I think that that's pretty unique. I think also the genres that I read are unique because I pretty much read anything. I'm very much a mood reader, and I will pick up anything from contemporary fiction, like epic fantasies. I'll read YA, middle grade. As you can see in the next vlog, I actually picked up a romance book and really like that as well. I'm really big into nonfiction. So this isn't like a solely romance or solely fantasy and sci-fi. I read through all genres. So I think that's pretty unique for me. I'm not afraid of any book, really. The only thing I don't really read is like self-help, I guess, and romance, but I'm kind of dabbling in that because I'm kind of figuring out what type of romance will work for me. And yeah, I think another unique thing is I have a psychological, well, oh my gosh. I have a psychology degree. So the books that I read, I like to have a lot of conversation about the tropes, and I read a lot of like dark contemporaries and like real world topics that are important to talk about, and I like to apply my knowledge for psychology and discuss those topics with people. So yeah, that's what I think is unique about me and my channel. The third question is, why do you love to read? I think boiling it down to the nitty-gritty point is that I love to read from other people's perspectives. This world is so big that I'm this tiny, and like my experience in the world is just a blip in time, and being able to read and absorb other people's perspectives or lifestyles and views in the world makes me a better person and a more well-rounded person. I like to read books that even challenge like my own beliefs to see why people think differently to become more well-rounded. I love to read classics and seeing the similarities of a book that's been written hundreds of years ago and how it still applies to my life today, and finding that common thread between all humans, no matter their walk of life, backgrounds, race, gender, identity, all of that. So that's why I like to read, just to gain more knowledge and to understand other people's perspectives and to put myself in other people's shoes and be a more well-rounded individual. The fourth question is a bit of a doozy because it's, what are some of your favorite books? If you know me, I have a very hard time being decisive for my favorite book. So I'm just gonna run through a couple for various genres and give you those because I can't pick one favorite even per genre. So to start with classics, I love Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eyes, one of my favorites. Another favorite is John Steinbeck, East of Eden. It's a chunker, but everyone should read this book. It's so good. Getting into a little bit of contemporary, I love The Secret Lives of Church Ladies, The Death of Vivek Oji, anything Akwaeke Emezi writes, I'm gonna pick up right away. I love them. Into fantasy a little bit, I love the Wayward Children series, starting with Every Heart a Doorway. The first one is epic. I love it. Classic Brandon Sanderson. I'm a Brandon Sanderson fan. I'm still working my way through a lot of his books, but the Mistborn trilogy really got me back into reading and into fantasy, so this is one of my favorites. Getting more into horror. Any Man. If you watched my previous video, you know I want everyone to pick this book up. So good. Ring Shout by Peter Jelly Clark, another favorite. A horror graphic novel is my favorite thing is Monsters, which I'm so excited about because I believe the second book is finally supposed to come out this year and I cannot wait. I've been waiting years for the second one to come out. The artwork in here is gorgeous. Like, this one's one of my favorites. And lastly, nonfiction. I'm a big nonfiction reader and a big memoir reader. Not necessarily celebrities, but people who have gone through real shit. If I could just put it that blunt. Not that celebrities don't, and not that I don't read celebrity memoirs, but you'll see what I mean here. Bad Flat Black Girl is one of my favorites. Know My Name by Chanel Miller is another one that I think every single person should read. It's fantastic. And a recent read is A Little Devil in America, which is all about Black performance. It's great. Those are some of my favorites, so you can kind of get to know my reading taste, even though it's all over the place. And the fifth question is, what are some challenges that you think you'll have to overcome with starting a YouTube channel? I think the biggest thing I'm already over is just getting the camera up and putting out my first video. It's really intimidating to sit in your house by yourself and to just talk to a camera. You feel, it doesn't feel natural, and that was very intimidating for me to start, and I'm very proud that I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's been a fear for years, so that was the biggest hurdle. I think staying consistent, obviously with the algorithm and stuff, like it really plays a part of being consistent and making sure I don't get lazy with uploads and having quality videos every single time. I'm having a lot of fun with this, but I know that it's gonna change, you know, with trying to be consistent. I think that when I'm not feeling so great and like still picking up the camera and, you know, treating it like a job and doing it that way will be a bit of a challenge at times, but honestly, I'm just trying to treat it as a passion and see where it goes. So yeah, I'm not being too hard on myself about it, but those are just some things I think that I would have to overcome. And the next question is, where do you read? And the answer for that is like, where don't I read? I keep a book or my Kindle with me at all times. You never know when something's gonna happen. You're gonna have downtime to read. But in all reality, a lot of the time I read on my couch in my living room. I have a big open window, so I like to open that and sit with my two cats, which you may have seen them running around. They're around all the time. I love to get outside and read as well. I have a swinging chair in my backyard that I just put up, so I've been out there quite a bit. I'm also a fan of beer and spirits. Like, I've been a bartender for a long time, so I'm the person that will grab a book and go to a bar and sit with myself and read. And that's some of my favorite personal date times is to just take a book, go grab a cocktail, a beer, and just sit by myself. Yeah, that's probably my favorite place to read. The 7th question is, when did you start reading? So this question's a little weird. I mean, I started reading at a pretty young age. I was always interested in books. You can ask my mom, would always want to go to the library and like do the little challenges in the summer to get my little personal pan pizza or whatever from the library. And I was always really into it. And then going into high school and college, it kind of fell off a bit like a lot of people because I was reading a lot of books for school and I was taking up a lot of time and wanted to hang out with my friends and stuff, so I prioritized that over reading. However, when I graduated and then I moved to Phoenix, I had a lot of open time, and that's where I developed my love of reading again and reading on a regular basis. I think the book that got me back into reading, funny enough, was It. I decided to pick up that big-ass book when the first movie was coming out, and Buddy read that with an ex at the time, and that was really, really fun, and since that point, I've just been voraciously reading since then. So yeah, I think that's pretty much my answer for when I started reading. And the last question is, what are your favorite genres? As I've stated previously, I read pretty much all genres, but I would say I gravitate more towards hard-hitting contemporary, horror novels. I'm a big horror fan for sure. I like to be weirded out. I like psychological thrillers. I'm a big fantasy fan as well. I love to be able to decompress and just dive into somebody else's brain and their own universe. Those are my favorites that I go to. I also like to read a nonfiction book every single month. So I read a lot of nonfiction, a lot of memoirs, a lot of social justice, gender, identity, nonfiction related books. Yeah, those are my favorites, but like I said, I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. So those were all of the questions. I went through them pretty quickly, but the last thing for this is I want to kind of give you a quick tour of my shelves. You can see them behind me, but I'm gonna get behind the camera and kind of show you each shelf and like how I have them organized, just so you kind of have an idea of my space. Yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so here's a quick scan of what my bookshelves look like. This is in my main living space, which is like the dining room, living room, and kitchen all in one big open floor plan. So I'm just gonna go by each shelf, not too in depth, just to explain how I have them organized. I have them organized by genre, so starting up top, we have graphic novels, getting into more graphic novels here. Then we're getting into an old favorite of She Who Must Not Be Named. And I recently got these Percy Jackson special editions, which I'm very excited to bust open in the next couple months. Then getting into middle grade and young adult. Up top, I have thrillers and some horror hardcovers there. Getting into classics. I'm trying to collect the Penguin cloth-bound editions because they're just so pretty, so I'm collecting those slowly. Moving down, we have other classics, a lot of Black classics here as well, a lot of Toni Morrison, which I'm getting through, reading one of hers a month until I'm through her whole backlog. Now we're getting into some classics, and then some classics over here, and then getting into some sci-fi, Octavia Butler there you can see. Getting down here to more sci-fi, which I need to dive more into because a lot of these books I have not read, so if you see one, let me know which I should pick up. Going up top again, we have some more horror, thriller mixed in. Getting down to specifically kind of some Stephen King, Chuck Palahniuk books, which are some of my favorites. Then we're starting to get into some of the contemporary, so that's a lot of the Black author contemporary books. Going further down, we have more contemporary, a lot of Book of the Month books here. Continuing down, I have some romances there, more contemporary books, and then the bottom shelf is just more contemporary, which I read a lot of, obviously. And this shelf over here, sorry the light's a little bright, is all of my fantasy books. So all of these are fantasy. I still need to read quite a bit of them, but as you can tell, I'm a big fantasy reader because there's a whole shelf dedicated to fantasy. And then I'm popping in another shelf that I have in the bedroom, which is my nonfiction shelf. My husband has some books in here as well, but yeah, I keep all my nonfiction in this area. But that's pretty much it. And there you have it. You see my bookshelves. You got to know me a little bit more in depth. That's it for this video. If you like what you heard, if you want to have a good time here at Scottie Sheree Reads, please subscribe. Leave a comment down below like what some of your favorite genres are. If there are any books that I talked about or shown that I like, if you like them as well, let's talk about them. And I'll see you with another video next week. Bye.